redo this or something?
No, it'll pop up. See some minutes to populate. You can just reload the page if you want to. If you want to.
Give it from Aussie. What's up? We're just kind of early, just to get people in here. Hello again. Hello, Vanessa, Kim, Roxy, Bethany.
Hey, y'all. So, how's y'all's day going? Ours has been pretty cool. I painted a butterfly.
Do you still not have shoes on? I should have just rolled your feet, babe. And you'd been like, you did it on purpose. I'd be like, oh, I know, right? Cool.
That was the right bump of me. Let me get at that.
Yeah, that butterfly turned out awesome, right? Pretty awesome. How many layers of gloves should I have on? 10?
No, just one.
Just one.
Can you
That's
see me? Pouring my heart out. Let me switch this to live chat.
You can share it. Anybody can join. Anybody can watch this and paint along. It's for everybody.
Pouring my heart out. She's a great artist, isn't she? We love Kim. I just want to make sure that she's visible. For some reason, it's not coming up all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, tell them that they don't have to participate. They can pour with us.
They don't have to?
No, they can pour with us whatever they want.
I just said that. I said everybody can join in.
I didn't know if that meant just watch.
You guys can, everybody can join in. Let me take care of the echo. Mary Beth, how are you? Soul Minded, Christy, Lisa, Morgan, Sue, Tina, Arlene. Well, thank you, Morgan.
Yeah, Kim, you're definitely not blocked on the channel, so you should be able to comment. If for some reason you can't and people aren't seeing it, just unsubscribe and resubscribe. And hopefully that'll fix the issue.
I'm in, but airbrushing, not pouring. Okay.
So, Kim, I have the phone next to me. If you have a question that's not getting answered, shoot me a text. All right, it's 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
See.
Who's ready to pour?
Me.
What are we gonna do, babe? What's going on today?
We're gonna teach a class over the YouTubes. And don't be a bully, Pugsley. So moving forward, we may do this on Zoom so I can see what you're doing so that we can help you to improve your art by seeing what you're doing and correcting it. During this class, it's going to be kind of difficult because you're just going to have to watch what I'm doing and try to replicate it if you want to. If you go rogue with your kit, go for it. I really encourage people to adventure with what they've got. You don't have to color within my lines. You can just color, you know?
Let's see the color.
Sandy has her sippy ready to go. Claudia, thank you so much. Love how the butterfly turned out. So let's start mixing resin. Hit that,
Who's ready to pour with us?
hear the stripper music.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and start this thing off right.
You're silly. Okay, so to begin, I have some butcher paper down to protect my tabletop. You can use newspaper. You can cut open a trash bag and use it. You can use a paper shopping bag, whatever you want. Just make sure you have something down to protect your table. We actually have some heavy plastic and butcher paper to further ensure that we don't damage our table. So I'm going to give you guys a couple of seconds to get that situated. In the meantime, does anyone have any questions before we get started? Is there anything you guys want to see in particular before we get started?
Yeah, before your hands get sticky, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask anything. Even if it sounds like it might have been asked before or answered, please don't hesitate. If we don't answer it, somebody in this feed will. We hope so. Thank you, Trina. We appreciate that.
Also, we are trying to come up with ideas for next month's Pour With Us kit. If you have any suggestions or anything that you guys want to do or want to learn, leave us a comment.
What
Let
color?
us know.
What colors are we using?
So in this pour, I have sent out in the kits Blue Lagoon, which is a slightly translucent flat paste, which means it has no shimmer. And it's just a little bit see-through. I also sent out Bleeze Blues or Blue Moon. It's a deep hyper shimmer powder pigment or dry paste. I did Snow White by Color Obsession. It's a paste. It's what we're going to get ourselves with. And I also sent out some 007 metallic powder, which is what we're going to use as our metallic and our highlight. Those are the 4 colors. I also sent in the kit some swiping paper, some glitter glass, stir sticks, measuring cups, mixing cups, the cradle board, a rag. Go ahead and put some rubbing alcohol on that rag if you have some. If not, you can use baby wipes or makeup remover wipes. It doesn't have to be 91% either. It could be 70 or anything in between there. Are there any questions? I'm going to proceed.
JJ wants to know if I can do the whole class in his 7th DJ intro man voice.
Sure.
Does anybody have any questions out there, guys,
Oh my
before we start
goodness.
this
You're
class?
not going to do it You're not gonna do it in your strip club DJ voice.
At
are you?
WATD, rock for the people.
Okay.
Let's go,
All right.
ladies and gentlemen.
Sure.
Erica.
So, in your kits, you got 8 of these little Dixie cups. You're going to use a few of them to lift your piece off of your base. So, just level them out. It's very important, by the way, that you have a level surface. Don't throw your box away either that your kit came in, because we're going to use that as a dust-free cover for your piece. Your canvas boards, our cradle boards, they have a ring in the back so that they're easily hung on your wall. They're cradled, they're lightweight, they're amazing. They're not porous, so you can pour on them without prepping them at all. So we're going to pour on them, since it's a beach theme, without prepping it, because we're going to use the color of the board as the sand color. So we're just going to put that on top of our 4 cups. Make sure that you don't put part of it on the cups that's on the rim that's behind it, and part of it on the inside layer, because that'll make it uneven. You need to make sure that everything is perfectly level. If you don't have a level, you can use, there's an app in most people's phones to make sure it's level. Right now it's not as important, but when you put it away for setting up and drying, that's when it's most important. So we have our board. It's raised so that it's easy to pick up and manipulate. My hands look real large on camera. It's added 10 pounds. Actually, I'm off actually. Do up?
Start that part over. There was no sound.
Oh. So you've got your stir sticks in your kit as well. You can peel the brown paper off now if you want to. You don't have to. You can actually leave it on after the first use. It makes cleaning them more easy after the first time. But we're going to wipe them off when we're done so that you can reuse them a million times over and not create more waste. So let's go. So you have your mixing cup. You can use these 1-to-1 ratio just on the side. Whatever you pour in the first column is what you need to pour in the second column. So if you pour up to the 3 in the first column with part A, you need to pour up to part 3 in the second column with part B. Or you can just come over here to the ounces and do it that way. So your kit came with 8 ounces. You don't need that much, but you have some coasters to use your leftover. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use 6 ounces because it's gonna take a little while for all of that resin to drain out of your kit. So we're gonna do 3 ounces with part B. So we're gonna pour up to the 3. And then we're gonna pour up to the 6 with part A. The reason why we're pouring B first is because it's a thinner consistency. Don't forget to go ahead and put your gloves on. If you're sensitive to resin, make sure you have all of your proper PPE on. If you have a respirator, go ahead and get that on. If you have a full hazmat suit, go ahead and put that on. Whatever it is that you need to protect yourself, because some people react to resin. I am not a medical professional, so I can't advise you on the PPE that you need to use. Just take care of yourself. So part B is the thinner one. It's gonna move a lot more easily in your bottle. That's the one we're gonna use first because it's least likely to stick to the edges of your pour cup when you're mixing your part A and part B together. So we're gonna pour that part B in.
And make sure when you're pouring this that it's flat on the table. Don't hold it and try to pour it in there because it will be off.
It's true. So we poured that up to the 3 in your mixing cup.
Should I just do that camera? You think it's easier for this right now?
I mean, I'm gonna show close up anyways. It's up to you.
I think it's easier just to have one camera, especially this.
Okay. I'm gonna give you guys a second to do that. I don't want to get ahead of anyone. If I'm moving too fast for anybody, wipe your hands off and shoot us a message and tell me to slow down. I don't mind. Don't think that you're keeping class up, because for every person that has that question that types it in, there's a dozen people behind a camera that wishes they'd asked that question. We're here to help, and I don't want to leave anyone in the dust. I want everyone to leave with a piece that they're super thrilled with. Just let me know where you're at. Once we get this on Zoom, I'll be able to see what people are doing.
Yeah.
So if you have that part B in there to the number 3, we're going to go ahead and add part A and fill it up to the 6. If you want to go ahead and mix everything that's in your bottles of resin, it should give you exactly 8 ounces. It will take a little bit longer for the part A to fully come out of the bottle because it's thicker. Whoops. So after you do that, you should have 6 ounces in your jar. Nope. Your mixing container, your apparatus. Y'all know what I mean.
Sue, people probably aren't going to be able to type right now to let everybody know who bought kits. There's a little bit more people in here than normal, so let's try to hold the questions to pertain to the class. I guess
Sure.
I could say that.
Well, the kit would pertain to the class, but relevant to this pour, probably. I
Yeah.
think we sold 60 or 70 kits for this class.
Yeah.
So that might answer your question. Okay. So hopefully you have 6 ounces in your jar. Nope. Mixing cup. If not, go ahead and get as much in there because it needs to be equal parts of A and B. It's very important that you do that, because if you have more of one than the other, then when you do your piece, it may not set up properly, and you will end up in a situation where a piece of your pour or all of your pour may not set at all. You're going to have to scrape it. It will never set. So it's very important to have equal parts of both. This is a 1-to-1 ratio, meaning 1 part and 1 part equally. So I'm going to take the larger stir stick that came in your kit and start mixing the two together. Is Cujo growling at you? So we're going to mix part A and part B together for 3 minutes. For this amount of resin, you really want to mix for 2 or 3 minutes to get everything fully incorporated together. Not doing this completely will also give you issues with your piece setup. I personally have had a piece not fully cured because I didn't mix thoroughly. It is a heartbreaker. In fact, that was my first and second piece. After 2 weeks, Jeff finally had to throw it away for me because I wasn't going to let it go.
How much is the kit for? The kits were $75 for this particular kit for tonight's pour.
We're going to try to keep them in the $75 range. It depends on what all we put in the kit for the class that we're doing and that's based on what you guys want to learn. So let us know what you want to learn, and we will create a kit and a class around that. As you're stirring, make sure you mix and scrape this side of your cup and the bottom of your cup, because some resin will stick to it, and you need to make sure that that is also fully incorporated. So scrape the sides and the bottom, as well as your stir stick. So just scrape it on the side of your mixing cup, and then scoop that in and mix it into your resin. If you look down into your resin right now, you'll see a lot of bubbles and probably some swirls where your part A and B aren't fully mixed together yet. That's perfectly fine. We're only halfway through the mixing. The bubbles are also okay because that just happens when you mix the part A and part B together. They'll end up popping when you add heat to your piece, which we're going to go over a little bit later.
That's our PayPal up there, if that's what you were talking about, Maynard.
I periodically will scrape my stir stick on the side so that I can extra make sure that everything is really mixed together well. I kind of learned the hard way on that. So just trust me. Don't slack on mixing your resin together.
Maynard, can I get your address, please? Okay.
It's worth noting that the more vigorously you stir your resin, the higher the risk is that you'll set it off too soon if you're using like a craft epoxy. Especially, you want to make sure that you don't super mix it like this, because that's going to create an internal friction and it'll make your resin heat up before you're ready for it to. So just keep that in mind.
What?
When you're using,
Bo's trying to go up the ramp and he can't. Oh.
If you're using resin like this Art Coat from Stone Coat, you really don't have to worry about over agitating your resin or running out of time working with it, because it has a 2-hour working time, which is absolutely insane. It's over double what any other resin I've ever worked with has in terms of a working time. Jeff had to go help Bowie get into the doghouse.
He couldn't get it. He couldn't get up the ramp. The carpet was down.
Okay, so your resin should be fully mixed together. It may look a little bit cloudy like this, which is totally normal. That's just a whole bunch of micro bubbles that we're going to take care of later. I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to fill up our butane is at USPS, by the way. That's one of them. So if you have a torch, you're going to see a little hole in the bottom. Take your butane and just hold it in there. You'll hear it gas off, which is totally normal. Just hold it in there for a couple minutes and it should flame up just like that. If you're not using a torch, then you should have a heat gun. I'm going to use a heat gun tonight, but I'll do a couple of demos with a torch just so that no one feels left out if you are using a torch instead of a heat gun. I want to be able to answer every question you guys have tonight, just like I do in our in-person classes. So please, please, if you have any hesitation, any questions at all, please ask us, because that's what we're here for. That's what we do.
It's what we do.
What we do.
There hasn't
What
been
we
really
do.
any questions. Just people saying hi to people. That's pretty much it.
Okie dokie.
Okay, now take a sip of your water or wine or a
Yes.
shot.
Wine and shots are not required for you to be a great artist. It's what I do at the end of the day to relax. Also, doing art is what I do to relax. So,
There she is over there, y'all.
welcome to our art studio. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. So cheers to you guys. Thank you for being here. I hope I'm not disrespecting anybody by drinking, but as an adult, it's what I do at the end of the day.
Because she can.
So cheers to y'all. I only say that because I did have someone tell me that they couldn't watch my channel anymore because alcohol. The cats and dogs are playing in the background. Okay, so we're gonna take 4 of our mixing cups that came in your kit. You should have 4 under your canvas. We're gonna take these other 4. And we're gonna fill them with resin. So you need to decide which cup is gonna be what color. So I'm gonna do Blue Lagoon. The white, which is Color Obsession. It's a paste, it came in your kit. And the last one is going to be 007, which is the gold metallic powder that came in your kit.
So I think you probably need to start with the colors because there was no sound.
What?
Just the first 2 colors.
So this first cup I've reserved for Blue Lagoon, which is going to be the blue paste that came in your kit. The next cup is going to be Belize Blues or Blue Moon, which is the deep blue powder pigment that came in your kit. The next one is going to be Snow White paste. And the last one is going to be 007 or Illuminate Gold, which came in your kit. So that we are all on the same page of what goes in what jar. I always like to put my pigments in order for my cups because I'm going to put the amount of resin in each cup that correlates to what color I'm going to use. So I already know that the majority of what I'm going to use are going to be the blues. So I'm going to put the most resin in these cups.
Lisa wants to know, can titanium white be used instead?
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, if you can't purchase the kit because it's right now, and I don't even think it's on the website. So there's no use in purchasing it because we're doing it now.
But tomorrow we're going to upload the kit for the 25th of May.
Ah, okay.
So as of tomorrow, you can purchase the kit that we're going to do for the May's Pour With Us.
Gotcha.
We're going to put out some feelers tonight to see what you guys want to paint in May.
Thank you, JJ. There's no fireball, though.
Did you drink it all last night?
I didn't have any last night. We drank it here. I didn't have one over there.
What's in it?
There's like maybe, I don't even think there's any in there. It's just a heavy bottle.
No, you want to get down? You got to tell your daddy.
You want to get down, buddy?
So, in these cups, I have, it's about halfway full on the cup. It comes to about here.
About how many ounces per color?
So in my 2 blue colors, I have about 1.5 ounces each. So this one's 1.5 ounces, and this one's 1.5 ounces. I filled the cup halfway with clear resin. So in each cup, I filled it to here, which is about exactly halfway. And if you fill too much in each cup, feel free to just pour it into the next one. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no color in it yet. No stress. This is an exciting adventure of art. This is not supposed to be stressful. Have a good time with it. There's no wrong. It's abstract. It's a good time. So now that we have our 2 blues,
Thank you, Lisa.
I'm gonna do about a thumb worth of white. So it's about 1/4 of the cup I'm gonna use for white.
You don't need a lot. You don't need. This is a little pour, unless you want to make extra for your coasters.
So I've got a thumb width of white in here. It's not a lot. And on the last one, we're gonna do even less for the gold. It's gonna come just above.
Down.
Oops, sorry. It's gonna be about half what we did for the white in gold. So now I have about 3 ounces left in my clear cup, my original mixing cup. And the reason why I keep so much left over is because we like to grease the pan or lay down a clear layer so that our colored resin has something to move over during the pour. It also gives us a little bit extra in case we need to mix more of one of these colors. If you go ahead and use all of your resin in your already made cups, let's say I made too much blue but needed more white, but I used all of my resin. I'm kind of SOL unless I want to mix another batch of resin for 3 minutes. So it's better, in my opinion, to mix a little bit less of each color and have some left over so that you know where the excess needs to go. But that's also kind of a personal thing. So if you feel like you need to mix all of your resin at one time, go for it. It's your party. Do what you want. Tink. All right. So now we're going to come to mixing the color into the resin. You're going to take one of your little stir sticks that you got in your kits. And the first color we're going to mix together is the Blue Lagoon. It's going to be the paste that you got, the liquid blue. And for the paste, it doesn't take a lot to tint your resin. I gave you about 2 or 3 times what you're going to need of each color in your kits. So you're just going to stir it up, make sure everything is well mixed together. And I kind of just take whatever is left on the stir stick and use that. But feel free to scoop it up and use it. If you want to use a little bit more, that's fine, because this is pigment that's made for resin. So if you use, for example, an acrylic paint and you put too much of it into your resin, it's going to heat up, it's going to start smoking, it's going to get really thick really fast. But because this is a high quality resin, and this is a paste that's made for use in resin, you have a little bit more leeway on how much you use. We're going to just mix that in. It should liquefy into your resin relatively quickly. Don't forget to scrape the sides and the bottom of your cup. Don't get too vigorous with it. You don't want to puncture your stir stick through the cup. If you want a little bit more of a translucent or transparent blue here, just use less of the pigment into your resin. And you can get kind of a transparent shade. How pretty is that blue? Definitely a lovely color. It's kind of a really true cobalty, almost navy, but not quite blue. So that's good, that's ready. We're gonna set that aside. One of the great things about using Art Coat by Stone Coat is that you have such a long working time. You take your time, you don't have to stress out like a lot of the craft resins, which are also good epoxies, but they don't give you a lot of the leeway that Stone Coat does. Okay, so when you're done with that, we're gonna get our dry paste. It's gonna look a little bit like used or wet coffee grounds. This one is Belize Blues. It's a little bit brighter than the Blue Moon that most of you got. I wish I had Blue Moon. I'm out of it because I sent so much out of the kits. So we're gonna take our Blue Moon. I would recommend doing this or mixing any powder into your paste, not on the surface, because you don't want anything, because it's a powder, it's loose. You don't want it to stain your pouring surface. So we're gonna do it off of our purring, it's not words, our pouring surface. I tend to overload my powders because they'll thin out when you start to manipulate them with your heat. So I would probably use about half or all of the powder that I gave you in your kits.
Yeah, Clara made a good point. Do not put your stick back into the color after you've dipped it into your resin.
Thank you, ma'am. I forgot to mention that. If you do that, your resin stick will seize up the pigment that you have in your jar. It's got to be a clean, no resin zone inside of all of your paint. Very good point, Clara. If you guys don't know, that's Clara Lawrence. She is a brilliant artist. Check her channel out.
Maynard, I'm not sure I understand your question about how much the resin and how many different sizes are available.
How many sizes
Is that BM or is that Belize?
This one is Belize Blues, but everybody, I'm pretty sure every single person in the kits got Blue Moon or BM. So your powder one should be darker. I wish mine was darker, but I didn't know that our demand for these kits would be so great. I'm so thankful for it, but I will know better for next time, which will start up tomorrow, by the way.
Tara Wilson said you're a great teacher.
Thank you so much, Tara. I'm really trying. I want everyone to be able to follow along. I'm kind of taking my time with all the steps. I don't want anyone to feel left out. So you should notice that your first color is flat. It's got no shimmer to it. And the second color has a really great shimmer. First color is by Color Obsession, a really great company out of Australia. The second color is a Resin Art by Leslie. She is out of California. I carry everything in this kit in our online shop, by the way. All right. Next color is going to be the white. This is arguably one of the most important colors to have for cells, especially with an ocean pour. This is a top selling white. There are pastes that you can get that will sell under other colors. This is a top sell white. So it's going to give you foamy, frothy waves, lacing, if you will. Not large spider web cells, which are another one of my favorites, by the way. So you're not going to need a lot of this. You're going to stir up the pigment that's in your jar. I know 3 of you contacted me saying that your white busted in transit. I'm going to look at a different way of shipping for the next kit. So you're going to stir up what you have. And it doesn't take a lot at all.
I'm asking about both.
We're going to mix that in. You really want this color of any of the colors to be opaque. So if you stir up your colors and you pick up your stir stick and you see that drizzle, if you can see through it, then it's not opaque enough. You need to add more pigment. So you need to wipe off your stir stick with the rag that's included in the kit. Get some more of the white pigment and mix that in. This needs to be opaque. We're set on that one.
Yes, Maynard. Everything comes in the kit. All the resin, the paints, the board, everything comes in the kit. Kim wants to know, my white is Color Passion, over or under?
Color Passion needs to be under.
When she gets to that, she'll definitely let you guys know about the white.
Let me go grab some Color Passion white. I'm gonna do that as a side demo for you guys, so that those with a base tint like Stone Coat or Color Passion or Rust-Oleum, you guys can feel included. I don't want anyone to feel left out. I'll be right back. Alright, I have my Color Passion here. I'll mix that up and do a demo on that when we get to that. I don't have any of our Masonite coasters, but I'm going to do demos on these posties for you guys as well. Okay, now we're down to the gold. This one in particular you need to do off of your pouring surface, because metallic golds like these are very light. They will float. Don't breathe those in because they are metal. If there are any powders that I overload, the gold is one of them, because I want them to fleck and float up to the surface.
Fleck and float.
It's a thing.
Sounds like a cuss word.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like a lot. You really want it to be thick, and you're gonna slowly mix this in. If you want to, put a dab of resin over the surface so that it kind of I don't want to use the M word. What's another word that's not the M word?
Moist.
Ugh.
Kim Gal wants to know, quick question. If I'm using a canvas, should I go ahead and put down my sand color resin, or do I wait? Her canvas is obviously white.
Mm-hmm. I would go ahead and put it down. I will say though that sand colored resin tends to not play nice with blue colored resin.
Yeah.
So in the future, if you're gonna do a pour on a canvas so it's not brown to start with, I would use a gold spray paint or a brown spray paint that's very nice light sand color.
Or paint your canvas first.
Which is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Paint the canvas that color, because once you add heat to resin and get everything moving and flowing together, once brown and blue mix together, they make sometimes a not very attractive color. So it's best to have one layer down that's one color and then manipulate the second color over it so that they don't have a chance to mix together. But yes, I would put, if you're mixing a brown paste first or a resin first, I would go ahead and pour it on this particular area of the canvas. I wouldn't put it all over because this is all that you're really wanting to be brown right here. So don't base the whole thing in brown. Hope that makes sense. Okay. So now we've got our 4 colors.
Trina said, is that the Illuminate Gold Metallic Powder?
This is because I ran out of my 007. Everyone in the kits got 007. They work essentially the same. Just make sure you overload your gold. So this is going to look a lot thicker than probably even our paste because I added so much powder. It's my opinion, and this may not even be a thing. This may be like a placebo. I don't know. It's my opinion that powders work better when they're overloaded because it's in my head that they stick together better if you overload this color with powder or this resin with your colored powder. It makes more sense in my head, but if you overload it, powders work better. I don't know the science behind it. That's just my experience. Bless you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to give people a couple more seconds to mix their colors. Once we're on Zoom, I'll be able to see where people are in their mixing process. And if I can see where you're at, I can more appropriately time the speed of pouring. Jeff and I pour every day. So a lot of times we mix things very fast, we go very fast, and unless I can see what's going on, it's hard for me to gauge or time where everyone is in the piece. So I hope I'm not going too slow, and I hope I'm not going too fast. If I am on either case, wipe your hands off before you type it out and let me know.
Booger Shay says, new to resin, loving this tutorial.
Thank you so much. I'm always here to help. Jeff and I started this channel so that we could help people become the best version of themselves as artists, and we're 100% here to help out.
And we always say we don't like to consider ourselves teachers. We're not teaching you. We are showing you what works best for us and fits your creativity, right? Mm-hmm. Or no? Yeah. No. That blink. Yeah, you're cute.
No, it is. We want to just inspire you to be the best you can be. We are not teachers by any means. We just want to show you what works for us, and hopefully it comes through on camera. Okay, so we're going to take some of our clear resin that we have left over, and we're going to pour it out. I started with 3 ounces in here. It looks like I have almost 2 ounces left in here, so we're going to pour out, so we have about 1.5 ounces left in our original pouring cup. Well, you can't see it if I do that, but it's 1.5 ounces. So this is what we like to refer to as greasing the pan. We are just making everything more slick so that our tinted resin moves more easily over the surface. It doesn't have to be a thick layer of resin if you mix more of these colors than I did. Don't stress out. You just want to have a little bit of slick over all of your canvas. That is some gold leaf. Sorry about that. That's from earlier today. Okay. Don't worry about this being even all over the whole piece, because Stone Coat's Art Coat is self-leveling. It will do all of that for you. So I'm going to give you guys a couple seconds to pour this out, make it even. If you find that you pour too much on, don't be afraid of scooping a little bit up and raking that back into your mixing cup, because the thing about resin is if it's over about an 1/8 inch roughly, it's going to break the surface and it'll flow off your piece. Our cradle boards are right angle, so they're very hard angled, they're not rounded. So that gives resin more resistance to stay on the pouring surface. Also cheers. Tink. My glass isn't dirty, by the way. This is my resin pouring wine glass.
Booger says, you are keeping it real and talking to us, not at us.
Thank you for saying that.
Doesn't feel S.
You know what? We're not.
Is that my sister? Jenny Costello.
I miss.
Is that my sister? I'm assuming.
We're not professors by any means. We're just regular people that love doing artwork, and so I, as best as I can, have a one-sided conversation with you guys. Make this as workable as can be for everyone that's arting. Sorry you have to see me in my crazy hair situation. It's about a week dirty, but
It's about a week ago. Glove
about
change?
a week
Question
ago.
mark.
Huh?
Glove change? Question mark.
Not yet. What you have on your hands is just clear. If you are uncomfortable with having a little bit of sticky fingers, feel free to add a little bit of alcohol to the rag that came in your kit and wipe your fingers off. I know.
Or alcohol wipe. Yes, that's true.
Alcohol wipe, makeup wipe, baby wipe, all of
Is
those
there
things will work.
curbside pickup?
Sorry about those motorcycles. In order to be able to convey to you what we want to say, I don't have a respirator on. That's not to say that you shouldn't have a respirator on. That is an individual choice. But if you have any kind of reaction, please don't hesitate to contact your health professionals and take all the precautions that you need
Yeah.
as an individual.
Keep all your alcohol-soaked rags away from the torch.
100%. I've set our studio on fire 3 times.
Jen's in here.
Hey, Gert. All right. So now you should have your layer of resin down. I'm going to use a torch today, but I'll do a demo later with, did I say a torch? I'm going to use a heat gun today. I'll do a demo a little bit later with a torch. So I'm just going to pop the bubbles that I have in my piece right now. You may see a little bit of bumps in your piece. For me, that's a little bit of hair. I'm going to pick that out. You also may see a little bit of bumps from the texture of the board. I don't know if you can see that. It's a little bit of texture right there. That'll be fine because we're going to cover it up with more resin anyways. This layer of resin is only to get our other colors to flow more easily. So if you see a couple of bumps in there, don't stress out. Perfectly normal. We don't stress out about any texture that's in our piece till the very end. All right, y'all ready to get some arting going? So I'm gonna start with the powder that we mixed up, the Blue Moon, or the Belize Blues by Resin Art. This is gonna be the metallic blue that you got in your kit. I'm gonna stir it a little bit just to make sure that nothing is settled while we were talking and doing everything else.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Oh, I got this shaking. Alright.
Anytime this one's shaking, I have to use my forehead to stop it. Just so you guys know. If you see this and it suddenly stops and you see both my hands, it's because I use my forehead to stop it. Skills. Okay. So I'm just going to pour a couple of lines.
Just please try, if you haven't poured, please try to do what she's doing.
We do have people a lot of times in our in-person classes that go rogue off of the beaten path.
Yeah.
And it's okay if you have something in mind, but I really want everyone to come away from this piece with something they're happy with. And I can't control what you guys do at home, obviously. So follow me for a minute. This resin gives you hours of working time. And if you don't like what you're doing by the end of it, then go off the page. But for a minute, let's just follow me for a second. So you should have this awesome shimmery blue down. And I love the fact that I can basically show you guys what this looks like sideways and it doesn't immediately fall off of the canvas. And that's just another awesome feature for a Stone Coat Art Coat. Full disclosure, I do sell Stone Coat Art Coat, but I only sell it because I believe in the product. That goes for everything that's in our store.
It's an amazing product.
It is. So your flow doesn't have to be exactly like mine. The idea is to have a couple of breaks so that you can fill that with the other color that we're going to be using. Any questions?
No, not yet. Is Jeff going to do one of these Art With Us videos? She's way better than I am at this. I'll just read.
So typically how our classes go is when we do them in person, I do the demos and Jeff walks around and helps people with questions as we're going, much like it is right now, just because he's a lot better with conveying what I'm doing when my brain isn't split between arting and talking. He knows what I'm thinking, so that just, he's better at talking through what I'm thinking than me talking through what he's thinking. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what's happening.
Karen wants to know if we're using Color Passion White, do we put that down first?
No.
Carrie Hicks, we're doing basically a beginner's class right now. It's Pour Along With Us kit that we sold on our website.
For the Color Passion, just all you have to do is pause before, when I'm doing the white with this Color Obsession, just hold off because I'm going to talk to you specifically. If you're using Stone Coat Art Coat, you've got plenty of time, and I will talk to you specifically if you're using Stone Coat Base Coat or the Color Passion White. So, but everything else I'm doing, follow along. So now we're going to use the Blue Lagoon, and I'm going to pour it into the areas that I don't have the resin. I'm not filling it all in, I'm not coloring it all in. What would happen if I did that is I would end up with too much resin on my board, and once I set it to cure, it would end up leveling off and flowing off the canvas because it can only hold on the surface up to about an 1/8 inch. And if I poured it all out and colored it all in, it would be well over an 1/8 inch. So we're just adding a couple of extra lines. It doesn't matter if there's breaks because we're about to run our fingers through it and make a design anyways. I'm giving people a second to.
Oh.
While you guys are doing that, I'm gonna mix up some color passion for the people that are using base tints so that I can do that demo as well. If you guys are using any other kind of pigment, give me a heads up, and if I have it on hand, I will do a demo for that as well. I don't want anyone leaving this core class with any questions. I want to be able to answer every single one of them.
Hold on, they can't see you doing that. Hold on.
Oh, I'm just mixing them.
Okay. You want to show them?
I'm sorry. So, if you are using Color Passion, this did not come in the kit. This is for people that have Color Passion or a base tint, either from Stone Coat or Color Passion or any other brand. Again, this is not in the kit. This is just for those that are working with different materials than what did come in the kit.
Just resin titanium white, please.
So if you're doing titanium white, you're going to follow along just as I am with the Color Obsession white that came in the kit. Same usage as it is a top selling white. The Color Passion is a base selling white, so it's going to be a little bit of a different process. If you have low-res white, you're going to also follow along with the top white for Color Obsession Just Resin. Again, for the Color Obsession, I've only mixed up about a pinky amount of the white. So when I was opening that jar, I did get some aqua on my hands. If you have a color stained on your hands, before we do this run through, wipe your hands off, or if you have spare gloves and you prefer that, change your gloves out.
Question. Does Color Passion have both top cell and base cell white?
They do, but I've found that almost all of their pigments are base pigments.
Yeah, there's like... You're starting to confuse me a bit. Somebody said Sandy. Casting Craft Opaque White is selling agent top or base?
Top.
That's a top, Arlene.
Cast and Craft, System 3, Color Obsession Snow, Just Resin Titanium, Low-Res White, all of those are top. The only ones that I know of for sure that are base are Stone Coat, Base Tint, Color Passion, anything, and some Home Depot paints. Okay. So now we have these colors on our board, right? We have a little bit of breaks in here, and right now I'm going to run my fingers through. I don't want to come too far up into my sandy area. I'm going to only manipulate the color behind my very front line.
Jenny, everybody's pouring right now. Their fingers are all sticky. There's everybody in here pretty much is pouring along with this is basically a beginner's pour along with us class. Clara, that's my sister, by the way.
You make her mom. Okay. So I've just run a couple fingers through a couple of times. to integrate all of our color together, both of the blues, just to give that gradient look. The deeper blue gives the depth, and the metallic blue gives that shine. If you have breaks of the sandy color coming through, that's perfectly fine because the ocean is not perfect and it has those breaks of the sand coming through. And it's something that I like to see anyways.
The ocean is not perfect.
The ocean isn't perfect. You can obsess over this if you want to.
I know, that was just so funny. It's not perfect, okay?
It's not.
It's not perfect. I was told I was special.
Period. Face.
Don't start that.
Jenny! Carol Bass. So some of my blue has a runoff onto my butcher paper, which is why we have that down. I'm picking a little bit of it up and I'm edging the back where the blue is. That's not necessary because I'm going to go back and probably spray paint it a solid color anyways. Just be careful, don't touch your sandy area with your blue fingers. Wipe your hands off or get some other gloves. I'm going to give you guys a couple seconds to manipulate your this. Because after this comes the exciting part, which is the waves. This is what everyone has a problem with. The cells, the waves.
Sorry, said the ocean will remember.
My heart will go on. Alright. I'm going to push this back a little bit because I'm going to do a demo on a coaster of different ways you can get waves. Right here.
What do you got going on?
I'm going to do a wave demo on a coaster.
Oh, I was like, you're going to do it on that little...
Yes, I'm going to do it on the back of the cup.
That is... It looks like it's not balanced right. You're like, that's going to fall. You need to like, there you go.
So, don't use your coasters to do this unless you just want to do a practice go, which is absolutely fine. I'm just going to do this with the different modes of white and the different modes of heat. I want everyone to be on the same page and know what they're getting into before they do it on their main piece. So, I've got my colors down.
What blues are those?
The same ones we've been using, which is the Blue Lagoon, and in the kit it was Blue Moon.
Okay. Belize blue? Blue Lagoon?
I have Belize Blues, the kits had Blue Moon. So, do I need to come in closer? Alright.
And what she's doing right now, if you just joined or if you're confused at why she has a square, she's just going to show you real quick, a real quick tutorial before you do your wave, before she does it on her round.
It's true.
This is just a little coaster.
It's a coaster. All of the kits came with 4 coasters for you to use your leftover resin. If you want to use those as a test run, absolutely do that. You have clear left. You should have some blues left. So what I'm going to do is take my top cell white. This demo is for people with Color Obsession Snow White, Just Resin Titanium, Cast and Craft, System 3, those types of white. If you're using a base white, this part is not for you. And in fact, if I'm going to be more specific, this is with a heat gun, so Color Obsession and System 3. Cast and Craft and Just Resin seem to do better with a torch, but they still do great things with a heat gun. So I put a layer of white out. And what I'm gonna do with my heat gun is aim for the middle of this row of white.
Nene said, "Hey everyone, oh no, I'm still blue."
Hey Gert, you will always be blue. So my heat gun has this platypus attachment. I don't know what it's called in actual human terms.
You can't. You need to hold it down.
Here, base.
You're not on the.
I am. I'm in there. Okay. So this attachment comes with heat guns, and it is what I use for my top selling whites that react best with a heat gun over a torch. And what I'm going to do is aim this corner to the middle of my white vein right here. I have the heat put all the way on 100, and I'm going to use the amount of airflow all the way on 100. So this particular heat gun has low heat flow and high. I'm going to do it on high and high.
Nene, I think Nene wants to be taken off blue.
Okay.
She's like, oh, they were just without a moderator one night. Do you want us to take you off, Nene? You can. It's not a big deal. You just have a little more power than everybody else. Just don't let it go to your head.
Right. So I'm going to aim for just the middle of this row of white. What are people saying?
Offline.
Can y'all see
It's
us?
still going over here. So hopefully it.
Anyone?
Oh, it's back on.
Okay.
All right. Man, I was like, what is going on?
So in case you missed it, we're going to do one solid movement with our heat gun. We're going to do one pass. As you see the resin start moving is when you want to proceed on your pass. If you hold your heat gun in an area too long, you're going to scorch your resin.
You missed all of it.
What?
You missed all of it.
Okay.
We do that.
No problem. We're going to move this aside and we'll do another one.
Yeah, I don't even know how. I didn't even notice it went off. I was trying to read all this, and when I looked over, the things weren't going. And then I was like, where's the green?
I mean, YouTube's been having issues lately. It's not a big deal. We'll just do another one. No stress, you guys. It's art. It should be a good time. So I'm going to put color down just as I did before, both colors. I'm going to spray it around to give a good base.
She's redoing it now, you guys. It's Carol Baskin.
That
She's redoing it.
Okay, again, this is for the top sell white people. Color Obsession, Just Resin, Low Res, Cast and Craft, and System 3. More specifically, Color Obsession and System 3 you do better with a torch rather than, a heat gun rather than a torch. Alright, so as I said before, you're going to aim the corner of your heat gun to the middle of this line of white. You want to add heat until you see it start to move, and then do a consistent slow pass. Don't hold your heat gun or your torch over it for too long because you will scorch your resin. You'll end up with a scab. It's horrible. It's a pain to clean up. So keep it moving. Okay, we're going to do full heat and full air pressure. Okay, I'm seeing it move, so I'm going to start to go.
Always keep moving. Always keep moving.
So as you can see there, we have a nice wispy,
Fine waves.
where are you? Wave.
No,
We
it's
have
good.
those extra fine lacing cells. Very fun, very whimsical. And if this front line of white is too much, lay down a thinner line of white, or just go back in and push it. And you can continue to manipulate your,
You can tilt it if you want, right? Or no?
So-
You don't want to tilt that.
I wouldn't tilt it on this because it's just going to stretch the white and you're going to take up more of the blue area. So I'm going to move this back. And I'm going to do a demo for the base tint people.
What is Bowie chewing on?
Who knows?
Well, will you look? It's right there.
He's chewing on a chew toy that he's supposed to have. Okay. So now I'm going to do a demo for the base tint people. We're going to do our blue and our other blue.
Chuck says, does anyone know if Illuminate Opaque dries as a base cell or a top cell? Or dies as a base cell or a top cell?
Illuminate would be a top cell. So we have our color down just as the other ones. I'm sorry I didn't list Illuminate when I mentioned those other ones earlier. But yeah, Illuminate is a base.
Oh, did you spill something?
Yeah, when I looked over to see what Bowie was getting into, I spilled my wine. Okay, so we're gonna take our base. This one is Color Passion. Another base would be Stone Coat. And I'm gonna lay a line down just as I did for the other ones. So everything so far is exactly the same. The difference here is I'm gonna push, sorry, I didn't add enough. I'm seeing a little bit of a break in my, I laid my color down too thin on this one. So everything's exactly the same, but the difference is I'm gonna push my color over the white instead of on my top cell white, I push the white over the color. I hope this isn't confusing anybody.
It's confusing me.
The point is, if you're using the color that came in the kit, don't listen to this. If you're using Illumilite, don't listen to this. If you're using Color Obsession, don't listen to this. If you're using Lorez, Just Resin, don't listen to this. The only people that should listen to this are people with base whites, which are Color Passion, which did not come in the kit, and Stone Coat Base Tint, which did not come in the kit. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna push the blue over the white. And the thing about this is, the white isn't gonna sell, it's gonna be the color that's over the white.
Honestly, I'm confused. Where are we at on the Ocean 4 crater board? Well, Sandy right now, she's giving a demonstration for people that have a different pouring medium or a different pigment. Because some people have different pigments right now that are using different whites. She's just showing the way to put over a pigment over white. After this, she'll get back to the cradle board.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you guys. So yeah, you're gonna push your color over the white if you're using a base tint. and that's going to give you your cell situation. Okay? So let's get back to the board. Alright. So now I hope you guys have kind of an idea of what kind of white you're using and what kind of cells you're going after on this piece. I'm going to take my Color Obsession Snow White, and I'm going to give myself a little bit of a wave in the background. The reason why I'm starting with the wave in the background is because I'm going to be pushing the resin this way, and I want to keep the flow moving in this direction. And if I do this wave before this wave, it could interrupt the waves. So it's important to know where your flow is going once you have some of your color down. And I know that my flow is going backwards into the depths of the ocean, away from my shoreline. So I'm going to stir up my Color Obsession Snow White, and I'm going to lift my Color Obsession enough to give just a fine drizzle. And we're going to start off of the piece. I just poked my piece, I'm sorry. Wasn't paying attention. I'm going to start my line off of the piece and take it all the way off the other side. And the reason why is because if you start your line on the piece, you're going to have like a blurb or like a teardrop drizzle that's going to be a heavier weight than it is.
Just a little more extra white than you need on there.
Right. So we're going to start off the piece. And we're going to move kind of fast. You don't want that thick of a wave in the back, because once you hit it with the heat and push it around, it's going to stretch the white out. And if you guys have ever seen, I know you've seen in the ocean, waves that are further back into the ocean aren't that thick. So I'm going to pick up, like scoop like a spoon, some white. And I'm going to start off of the piece and let it drizzle right here. I'm going to aim for off of the piece when I start. I'm going to aim for off the piece when I stop. And when I'm done off the piece, I'm not going to bring my stir stick back over the piece, because then I'm going to disrupt my design. I'm going to take my cup with the white to my stir stick and put my stir stick back in the cup, so that I don't give any confetti or party favors or drizzle through the piece. Alright? So I'm going to scoop it, start off the piece, do it all the way back, and put my stir stick back in the cup. Ready? Scoop it, start off the piece, do a line, put my stick back in the cup.
Don't drag your stir stick back over your piece.
You want a clean wave. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and manipulate this wave first. And just like I did on the demo, I'm going to use my torch and push it back. Now I'm going to show you a little bit of what I don't want to see in my waves. If I just use my heat gun and push back like this instead of one clean wave, I'm going to show you what that's going to look like and why that's not quite desired. So if I just do this and push it back in strokes, I guess, you get kind of like a bumpy wave, sort of. When in reality, a wave is more fluid and consistent. So we're going to gonna just push it back just like that. So now, the white that we pushed back is kind of acting like a second wave back there in the background. Y'all, I feel a little bit like Bob Ross right now. It's a happy little wave. So you can see some of the little cells popping up right now. And the thing about resin is, the longer it's there and settling and relaxing, the more awesome stuff is gonna pop up. Because as it settles and self-levels, it gives you new designs popping up. So I'm gonna give you guys a second to do that. Take your time. Don't forget, stir, scoop, start off the piece, and give yourself a little design through. Stop off of the piece and put your stir stick back in the cup. You're not dragging your stick through the color, you're just letting it fall off of your stir stick onto your board. So no blue is getting transferred back into your cup of white resin. I'm gonna take this time to go refill my wine glass that I spilled on the floor. I'll be right back.
No, they're just talking.
What happened?
Yeah, we have 252 people watching.
Oh, hey.
Wow. That's like a record for us.
Yeah, usually we top out around 90. So thanks for everyone that's sharing.
No, look at this right now. For a live stream.
I really want to hear y'all's feedback. If there's something that you guys would want to see, if there's something that I can improve on,
The ocean pour right now.
please let us know.
Looking on the first wave.
Also, please let me know if I'm moving too fast or too slow.
Artist Till Death is our YouTube channel if you guys want to come check us out. We're still live.
So while we've been sitting and waiting, our cells have really started to develop a little bit, which is awesome.
Yeah, then we need to do a live class with Swice next time.
Are people asking about spice?
Yeah.
Ow.
Bless you.
Thanks. Sorry about that. I'm German and I have German sneezes.
It's pretty quiet though.
So how's everyone doing on that? Are we ready to proceed?
So saying how pretty it looks.
Okay. So I'm going to give you guys about another minute to get your back wave going. Don't forget that you do have leftover resin. If there's a part that you don't like, feel free to scrape it off. Put more glue down. For the sake of example, let's say there's someone out there that isn't excited about how their first wave looks. Let's say you did this and it was too much white, or it's not enough blue, or it's something that, like, say it's too straight of a line for you. Let's say anything that you don't like about this. I'm just gonna take one of my stir sticks. It's gonna take one of my glue stir sticks, and I'm gonna just scrape this off. Because if you don't like it, then you don't have to like it. Scrape it off. I'm gonna wipe off that stir stick before I put it back in that blue. I'm just gonna put that color. I'm gonna put that color back down. Because if you don't like it, don't roll with it.
Sue said, mine looks wispy, but with no cells. Too thin, question mark.
Are you using a torch or a heat gun?
Tara Wilson said, can this method be used with acrylic paint?
It can, but I cannot talk about your cells with acrylic paint because they're so different than
Welcome,
epoxy
Suzanne.
specific paints.
271 people. It just keeps climbing.
Thank you guys for sharing our video. So I've wiped off that cell line, that wave that maybe you didn't like, and it looks like it never was there. So I'm gonna add my wave again. Don't forget, scoop it, start off the canvas, go across in a fluid motion. If you hesitate, it's gonna show in your line. So we're gonna scoop it, go across, and we're gonna take our cup and put our stir stick back in the cup. Okay? We don't want to drag that stir stick back through the resin because then you risk having a little bit of dribble through your design. Again, what we're going to do is aim the corner of our heat gun to the middle of this white and push it back in one swoop, okay? Don't hesitate. Don't just keep the heat in one area because you don't want to scorch your resin. If your resin is starting to look a little cloudy, it means you've thinned the resin too much with the heat. You need to move a little bit faster. Scrape that off, put your glue back down, add your wave, try again, and move a little bit more quickly. Once it starts to move, I'm gonna keep that flow going. All the way across. And you should have some nice light wispy cells right there. What are you doing? What's that sound?
This thing. Sorry. It was a video smooth thing. Hi, it's me. Brandon.
So,
They're all just saying hi to each other.
now you have that awesome line of wave right there. If you want a little bit thicker of wave in the back, do a second pass. It's your party.
Okay, or use my glue to follow the coaster, something I shouldn't have done. I don't
Follow
know
the
that.
coaster.
Sandy, Sandy Stewart, I'm confused on your question. Okay, so, or use my glue to follow the coasters, something I shouldn't have done.
So Sandy, do you have any resin left to mix for this? I'm confused. Also, Sandy, if you aren't happy with what's going on and you want a refresher, you have my number. I'm happy to help, girl.
Tara, we've been doing this for about 2.5 years. right?
So now we have our first wave down. We have our back depths of the ocean wave. Now we're gonna do our next one. And for me, I like to do 1 or 2 waves on something that's this small. So I'm gonna follow the line of our blue right here. Something that a lot of people have liked recently is having a wave that's also in the white, that's clear and into the blue. We can also do one of those since a third of our canvas, let's say, is still brown. So this next wave we're gonna put just on the edge of the blue where it meets the color of the canvas, all right? It's gonna be the same way. We're gonna start with a scoop of the white off the canvas and follow through. If you're using a base tint that did not come in the kit, which would be the Color Passion base or the Stone Coat base, you're gonna do exactly this, but you're gonna start in the blue and go over the white. That's gonna be the difference for you if you're using a base tint. Again, if you're using what came in the kit, you're gonna follow exactly what I did. That doesn't pertain to you. This is only for people that are using Stone Coat base or Color Passion, which did not come in the kit. So, we're gonna take our Color Obsession white and follow the blue where it meets the brown. Do you love me?
Vanessa said, "This teacher is a horrible student. I worked ahead and did something different." I think she's a teacher, what she's saying. She's a horrible student.
So if you did work ahead and don't like what happened, scrape it off. You should have enough resin to do 1.5 of these. So scrape off the parts that you don't like and put the color back down. You know, it happens in almost every class that we teach that there's someone that's like, I see what you're saying, but I'm gonna do my own thing, which is 100% fine.
Yeah, if you guys really want to go on your own, you can go off on your own, do your own thing if you feel comfortable doing it. Like we said, we do this every single day, and if you have any questions or would like to go back over this on a later date, we would totally be happy to do that for you. And if we're going to be, I think we're going to be start doing Zoom classes so that we can see your work and you can talk and all that fun stuff.
It's true.
And if you're new to this, I am Thornton. That is Erica.
Hey y'all.
We are Artists Till Death. We're out of Dallas, Texas.
We actually sell every one of the things that we're using today on our website, artisttilldeath.com. And you can always reach us if you have a question, if you need a color match situation, just shoot us a text, 214-402-9996. All right, so we have our second wave down, and we're gonna do it the exact same way as we did this one back here. We're gonna aim for the middle of the wave with the corner of our platypus attachment and push it back into the ocean. We're gonna do it on high. We're going to do it in one smooth, quick pass, okay? Once the resin starts moving, move your torch or keep going.
Torch would be a little harder doing this.
So if you're using a torch, you're going to want to do this a little bit on a decline. Sorry, I got something in my, got a hair that I need to address. That was a long one. That's what she said. So you're going to do this a little bit on a decline. You're going to hold the. Can I show you guys?
I love that wave like that. That's so fun.
You're gonna do a 45-degree decline. Take your torch and hit it in the exact area that I was talking about, and just touch it. Where you guys at? So you're gonna just touch it until it starts to break, and move on. And that's gonna give you those little cells and micro bubbles. That's especially true for just resin and cast and craft. Those two work really well with a torch. And this is a little bit too upfront. The cells are a little bit too close to the surf for me. So I'm gonna do another pass in this area.
It's me. You can use a hair blower, but I would use it on low because it might just blow your resin off of your canvas. I'm not sure if a hair dryer would get hot enough on low. It might. I've never tried it. I don't know if you've ever.
With the blow dryer. We just did a torch and a blow dryer. Like that table that we did that's in the foyer that everyone's watching lately, that was torch and blow dryer.
That was like, yeah, that was over 2.5 years ago.
All right. So this is a great start to an ocean piece.
That looks so good. That looks
Now-
like if there was a rock right there, it looked like it was like splashing on it.
Just here.
Yeah.
So a lot of people lately have been doing a wave that's kind of broke into the surf, I suppose.
I like that idea.
So we're gonna do one of those as well. If you went along with this class so far, you should have about a third of your canvas available to do this. So what we're gonna do is the same that we've been doing, but a little bit finer of a line. We're gonna start with our scoop off the canvas, all the way through, and we're gonna meet our stick and put it back in our cup. This is gonna be a thinner line, so we're gonna move faster across the surface. Back
That
into
was
the cup.
fast.
It needs to be fast because you want a thin line here. You don't want this big wake right here, because if you have too much of that, you're gonna just have a whole bunch of white.
Yeah.
You don't want that. You want just the foam break.
You want the foamy foamersons.
See. So I'm gonna give you guys a couple seconds to get geared up to do that. I'm gonna take a sippy of my wine. Cheers to all you guys that have joined us tonight.
Cheers. Yes, see.
See. Thank you to everyone that has joined us, that has supported our channel, that supported our website. We are full-time artists. This is what we do for a living. And I hope I'm not making it look too easy, because resin isn't. I think the more that you overthink resin, the difficulter it is, the more difficult it is. It's not words.
Difficult-er.
That's not words. The more difficult it is, the more you overthink it. So if you just kind of literally go with the flow, go with how the resin's moving anyways, it's a lot easier. If you're not trying to literally swim upstream, then it's easier to do. Hey, little man.
Oh my god, they're like.
Yeah, baby kiss.
There's
Yeah, baby kiss.
people having a party on the TV in the background.
Yeah, but Moo came to see me.
No. Look at the TV.
Okay. So yeah, don't fight the resin. If you have kind of this very... I'm sticky. I can't pick you up right now.
Oh, what do you, babe?
So if you have a very one-track mind of how you want your piece to go, it's possible for you to be disappointed with how your piece turns out. If you're open-minded to how resin's just going to flow on its own, it'll turn out more to what you want it to be. I hope that doesn't sound too like artsy-fartsy. But listen to your resin. Let it kind of move the way it wants to, and then manipulate it in a way that is already flowing. I hope that makes sense and it doesn't sound too crazy. Okay. Go lay down, boys. Lay down. So, we've got our next line down. I hope these breaks where I'm just talking to you isn't distracting. I just want to give people time to catch up on what we're doing. So we have our next line down. And we're going to do literally the exact same thing, okay?
355.
We're going to just push it back towards the depths of the ocean. And once it starts moving, move your heat source.
That's so fun. Well, thank you, Sam Wilson. He said, I haven't been able to buy from you as I'm in Australia and delivery is difficult, but have just donated 20 US to support you that way. That's
Thank
so
you so
fun.
much. You know, a lot of our pigments come from Australia, so feel free to order from Just Resin or Color Obsession or Color Passion that are all already located in Australia. So now we have our shoreline break right here. We've got all of these awesome waves happening in the depths of our ocean. And it kind of looks like my piece was a little bit offset.
That's so nice.
And it kind of ran back into the shore. So I'm going to take my torch, my heat gun back out and push this line back into the ocean. Just exactly the same way I did before. Keeping the flow solid and consistent.
Very good, very good.
Now,
Looks nice.
you do have some gold in your kits. For me,
The theme park said, all the sea creatures have abandoned my ocean. They're embarrassed.
they're embarrassed. You guys, this is not an overnight easy situation. I want you guys to feel free to come to us with any questions that you guys have. We're always available. I answer text messages personally every single day.
Every day.
Half of my day, every day, is on our cell phone, answering questions with people asking,
What's resin?
what is resin? How do I get cells? What color coral in this hairnet matches a paste that you have in your shop? How can I get this color? How can I get this result? I revel in the fact that we spend our days helping you guys to be the best you guys can be. And it's amazing because when we first started doing resin, I couldn't get help. No one wanted to help me. I asked everybody, and everyone said it was proprietary, can't help you, can't be bothered. So it's important to me to help you guys. So please don't feel bad asking us, messaging us about what we can do to help you. Send me a picture of what it is you're trying to do and where you're at with the project. Happy to help you.
Happy.
Happy. Okay, so now you have some gold left, right? So what are we gonna do with it? A lot of times I like to add a couple of veins of gold in my artwork. If you don't want to use gold in your piece, don't. It's your life, it's your party, it's your happy little tree, and if you don't want to do it, then don't do it. I'm gonna add a couple of bits of gold because I'm gaudy like that, okay? And if you want to, just look at how mine turns out, and if you don't like it, then don't do it. Where are we gonna do this? I'm gonna go through here. I'm gonna add a little bit of heat.
Sorry, Vamp, I didn't mean to take away your thing. I was looking at the person underneath you to comment.
Personally, I like gold in my pieces because it sets off the blue. But if you're not about this look, if you want it to be a true ocean, leave it out or just put it in the brown area. Don't forget that no matter where you're adding color, start off the piece, end off the piece, okay? I'm pretty happy with how this looks, so I'm gonna let it live, I'm gonna let it breathe. I am gonna hit it with one final swoop of heat because I don't want any bubbles to be left in my piece. If you look at it from the side and see anything floating in it or any kind of situation where it's catching the light, hit it with heat. If not a lot of heat because you don't want to move or adjust your design, just a little bit like this. If it doesn't pop with just this heat right here, then something is in your resin and you need to get some tweezers and pluck that out, okay? So I've got a little bit of something right here. I'm gonna get some tweezers and pull that out.
Sue said, sorry, Miss E, but our resin has gone off due to the fact that we're in Australia. Humidity has got the resin. Uh-oh.
What kind of resin are you using? I use Stone Coat in Australia, in every part of Australia. From Perth to Melbourne, Sydney, Yarramalong, Adelaide, I don't even know where, a couple other places. And it was this time of year, like it was, I just got notifications on Facebook about our trip last year this time. Sorry, please hold. Jeff's taking pictures of the piece for
ATD.
All right, so if you ordered the kit from us, then I encourage you to move it aside and take your box that the kit came in, turn it upside down over the piece so that you have some protectant and nothing lands in it overnight, okay? I'm gonna move this aside and we're gonna do some coasters with our leftover resin while everyone's finishing up. If you have a question while we're going, do not hesitate to ask because I'm here to answer your questions. There are no stupid questions, there are no dumb questions, there are no repetitive questions. I'm here to answer every single one of them. I'm here for you guys. That's my job. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to mix my leftover clear into my color cups so that I can do these coasters for you guys and do other demos as questions are asked. If there are any. I'm sure there will be. Don't forget to wipe your hands off before you type out any questions. I don't want you guys to have sticky keyboards. Don't feel in a hurry. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here for you guys. If our feed shuts out again, then it does, and we'll start another feed.
Terry, you can put a clear coat over it if you want, a flood coat, but that's completely up to you.
Oh, I forgot about the glitter glass that we have. Okay. So in your kit, you also have a little jar of glass that came. And this is my all-time favorite product right now. It is extra fine shards of ultra sparkly glass. It is the most elegant sparkle I've ever seen in my whole life ever. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna sprinkle it into the blue area of my piece so that it has extra sparkle. I don't know what it's gonna do to the waves because I haven't done this yet, so this is gonna be an in-person experiment.
Watching our live feed for Erica doing this ocean piece.
If you don't want to do this, feel free to not do this. I also use this stuff when I do my geodes. Ew. B, look.
It looks like there's a lot of sunshine shining on it.
There is a lot of sunshine shining on it. It's awesome! Okay, I'm gonna put that aside.
We feel like we're on the show Nailed It.
We're on the show Nailed It?
That's what we should do, Nailed It Resin.
Right?
Nailed
it or failed it. Resin edition.
That's funny.
Okay. Now, you got in your kit some coasters. They are not square, they're round, they're masonite, and you can use them much like you did the round that we just did.
Live feed. Doing a resin pour. That is a coaster. She's getting ready to do an ocean piece on it. Come check us out.
I cannot thank you guys enough for being here. Every single 400 people of you. Sorry for messaging me. My hands are sticky. like we did before. This time I'll do a torch in case you guys have a torch at home instead of a heat gun. When you use a torch and do a wave, it works best if you do it on a slant like this, because when you use a torch, there's no air flow, it's only heat. When you use a heat gun, it's blowing hot air. When you use a torch, it's just fire. So in order to get that movement like you do with a torch, you need to put it on a slant or a tilt, okay? So I call this a torch and tilt. I'm going to use a butane torch. This one is a dragon torch that is Jeff's, but you can get a creme brulee torch from any online Amazon store or a restaurant store. I'm going to put, I don't know if you guys can see this. So see this flame? I'm going to use this area that's just beyond that bright blue color, and I'm going to aim that in the middle of my white line, okay? Bowie, what do you got? All right. So I'm going to heat it all over first to pop the bubbles. And then I'm going to heat it just in the middle of that vein and let it tilt downward. And as it goes, it's going to stretch and break and give you that nice cell wave look.
Okay, sorry. You can't get through there. Your brain's
Just
getting
like
bigger.
that. So there. Now you've got a wave with a torch. You don't have to put your piece on a tilt if you're doing something. If you're using a torch, don't feel like you need to be on a tilt. That's mainly for if you're using a heat gun, you don't need a torch. That's mainly for I've forgotten what I've said as I'm saying it. Tilt and torch, don't need to heat gun and torch. This one, I'm going to show you how I do my gold ribbons, which is something I've gotten asked about a lot, and I'll do a full demo of this soon as well. Your resin may start to get thick now, especially if you're not using Stone Coat Art Coat. That's perfectly normal. If you add heat to your resin, you'll thin it out so that you can manipulate it a little bit. Keep in mind, the more heat that you add, the more quickly your resin will cure. So I've got my blue base. You can see a little bit of texture in my resin, but once it starts to relax, it'll self-level and it'll be fine.
Cujo. I can just hear him.
Okay, I'm gonna wipe my hands off so I don't get Jeff's torch all sticky.
Hispanic. Does anybody speak Spanish?
I'm sorry, no hablo. Alright, to do ribbons, you need a torch. You're going to just do a line of gold. Scoop, start off the piece, end off the piece, put your stir stick back in the cup, okay? And now this works a lot like how the waves work. You're going to push just as if it was a wave out. like it usually does today. Which is fine. It doesn't always work like you think it will.
Thank you, Trina. Have a good night.
So what we're gonna do
Baby, you're at 2 hours right now with this resin,
is
so.
pivot. Yeah. So it didn't work like it usually does. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pivot. We're gonna make it do other things. We're gonna tilt it off just a little bit so that it gives us that shine. And we're gonna do white. We're gonna do a wave instead. That's kind of how you can tell that your resin's starting to go off, is it gets a little bit gummy. I'm sorry if you can hear my very pouty puppy in the background. That's a little bit much white, but sometimes you have to just go with the flow. Happy little trees, happy little waves.
This person has started is Romanian? No idea.
So here's our wave. We aimed for the center of the white and pushed it back towards the depth of the ocean.
Thank you, Dolores.
And I think in an upcoming video we're going to do tutorials on the different types of white you can use to get different types of cells. If that's something you guys would be interested in, please comment during this feed or comment down below. I'm going to take these pieces that we've done throughout this video and put it in our dust-free zone. If you're working at home and you don't have a designated dust-free zone and you ordered our kit, just turn the box over that we sent you with the kit in it, and that will protect your piece. Tell them how long it takes for it to set up.
This particular piece will take what, anywhere from 12, do I want to say 12 hours to 15 hours. Let's see here. It should take around 15 hours, 24 hours to touch. You don't want to put anything on it for at least 36 hours if you're making like a serving tray or something that you're going to be setting something on. And if you're, what we like to say is baby it. So let's say you wake up in the middle of the night and you think, oh, I'm worried that something flew into my piece. If you get up, make sure you have a torch or a heat gun, and if something did fly into it, heat up around that area just a little bit. Take your tweezers, pull the item, bug, whatever, hair, whatever's in it, and then heat that area just a little bit and leave it alone, and it'll settle back down.
It's true.
Yeah. All right, so now
Our
what?
piece looks really good, you guys. I'm gonna switch it to
Yeah,
overhead.
I will.
Looks like a crackling ocean. I'm very happy with how this piece turned out. Please, you guys, if you have any recommendation on future videos, we're going to do this on the 25th of every single month for the foreseeable future.
Yes. Can we see the Zoom people's paintings? Who's got? We don't have a Zoom yet. We haven't done a Zoom yet, so that will be later on.
Oh, so if you have your stir sticks, put some alcohol on your stir sticks.
You got
alcohol on
lower
your
that
rag.
and like.
Can you see me? Put alcohol on your rag that came in your kit and just wipe these stir sticks off. They will be able to be reused for a long, long time. Just wipe them off, set them aside, and tomorrow you can do another piece with them. We do sell the stir sticks individually on our website as well as all of the resin pigments, the epoxy, basically everything you saw on the feed tonight, we sell on the website. So after you're done with your piece, wipe everything off. You can just roll up your area. This mixing cup, put alcohol on your rag, wipe it out. You can reuse this for a number of times. The little Dixie cups that we sent you, not so much reusable.
Not so much. Not at all.
Just roll up your what's that called? Butcher paper or trash bag or whatever you have down. Roll that up with everything that's not reusable. Toss it, wipe everything out and off that you can reuse, and leave that out to dry and set up for the next day. Be careful not to burn yourself.
Hey, look right here.
With your heat gun. I've done it. It's not a good time. I'll prove it to you.
459 people still watching.
Can you see? Can
Yeah,
you see
they-
it? You can't even see it anymore. Yes, you can. Point it out, B. I can't.
Is it on that hand? Oh, yeah, right here. There you go.
That's the face of a heat gun. That's what it looks like.
Yes.
All right, you guys. Woo! I had a blast with y'all. Come with me. Talk with me. Roll with me.
Walk.
What's up?
Walk with us.
So yeah, I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys have at least broken the ice with resin. I know it's difficult. I know it's intimidating. I know that it's not easy to mix those two parts together because it is a little bit expensive. It is a little bit intimidating, but I think once you've got a couple of those under your belt, the easier it is to kind of let yourself go with it, you know? If you have any ideas of what you want to see in the future, or what kind of classes you want to see in the future, shoot me a text, 214-402-9996. I just got knee checked by my puppy.
Yeah.
Or leave a comment down below. Join our Facebook group, which is right here, ATD's Poor People. We're going to put a poll out in this group that asks what you guys want to learn for our May class, which will also be on the 25th of the month. We're going to plan to do it on the 25th of every month at 8 o'clock, which would be right now, but 2 hours and 11 minutes ago.
Okay.
They do. The pups want to go outside. So, yeah, I hope you guys had an enjoyable time watching us. We're here for you guys. If you have any questions, shoot us a message, an email, a text, a comment, whatever. Please subscribe. Hit the bell so you have notifications. We go live every day, basically, and sometimes it's not resin. Sometimes we do other kinds of artwork because we think it's important to incorporate other styles into
we do
your
so
resin.
many different other types of artwork that we try not to stick with just resin on our channel. That's why it's called Artist Till Death, so it's for all forms.
Yep.
Yep.
I think if you pigeonhole yourself as one kind of artist, you're limiting yourself and you're not really opening your talent to all of the things that it is to be an artist.
Benefit you, and you get a lot diverse watchers and followers and other artists on your channel.
Right, but as an artist watching, you need to be open to all forms of
Yes.
artwork so that you can be as diverse as possible. Because a lot of the things that we do here is taking things from other art forms and incorporating them into other art forms. Like, for example, the Mayron craze that came out. You know where that started? I accidentally spilled some Mayron into resin. It's actually body paint because he's a body painter. And I took his body paint and I put it into resin on accident and it became a thing. So you never know what's going to happen. Experiment. Think outside the box. Don't color in the lines. You never know what you're going to find or create. Find your own style by incorporating other things into resin.
Yes.
Anyways, we love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here. All 452 of you. That's amazing.
That's insane.
What's happening? I don't even know.
That's awesome.
Let me show you guys the boys. As customary, we say goodbye by showing the boys move.
Wow.
These are babies. This is Bowie and Cujo. They're our little shop pups. Hey, can pup kiss? Thank you so much. We love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here. I gotta take the boys out before they pee on my shoes. But join our poor group, ATD's Poor People. You can find all these products on our website, artisttilldeath.com. We will have a class every single month on the 25th. If you want one of the poor kits, it's only $75 generally per month. And it includes everything you need that I'm going to be using on the channel. We would love to have you guys every day, at least on the 25th. And be kind to one another. Because you never know what someone's going through. At least, and especially right now, things are crazy. So be kind. You never know. And we will see you guys next time. We love you guys so much. Till next time. Bye.
I said bye.